Yeah, and I think what you said earlier about kind of that FOMO is an interesting point, because what we've seen traditionally and what I think we're seeing now is that the media comes in, right? The price starts to appreciate, the media comes in and they flood everyone with a bunch of information on Bitcoin, right? You see it everywhere you can get it, whether it's on CNBC or any of these other networks. And then that's where you get all the retail participation of people FOMOing in saying, hey, I don't want to miss this price action. There's an opportunity for it to really appreciate. So as an example, like just today, right? You were on CNBC talking about Bitcoin price action in the Lightning Network. Substack announced 500,000 users they were enabling Bitcoin payments for on their platform. FTX announced a $20 million naming rights deal with a college stadium, of which they paid 100% in crypto. And then what we saw, BlockFi last week signed a deal with the number one overall draft pick, right? So like even in just today, in the past couple of days, there's been a bunch of announcements. Visa bought a CryptoPunk, right? So like there's a bunch of things that come in because these companies realize this is their opportunity to go out and market all this stuff, right?
So marketing is one big piece of it, right? Like talk about Visa buying a CryptoPunk, like $150,000 for Visa doesn't matter. They're not trying to make money on a $150,000 investment. But what it does is it continues to show that there are some companies that realize this is the future and they're going to go lean into this pretty heavy and they're going to embrace it. And they understand Bitcoin is the future. Cryptocurrencies are the future. Digital technologies are the future. Then there's companies who are literally never going to embrace this stuff, right? We talked about last week. We literally held a funeral for Western Union. Those guys are done. KO. There's no way that they're going to adopt Bitcoin, right? And so when you start to think about the difference in response, you can't prevent innovation from happening, but you can control how you respond to it. And I think that's what we're ultimately seeing is look at Visa versus Western Union. Visa already is doing things with Bitcoin, stable coins. Now they got the CryptoPunk thing. Like they are trying to figure it out. Maybe they're successful, maybe they're not, right? There's a guy over there, Kai Shuffield, who's doing a fantastic job kind of running all of this, and he really understands it. But can he get the big organization to embrace it and kind of go all in? We'll see. But Western Union, they can't even keep their service up for people in Afghanistan, right? And so I think you're just seeing two completely different approaches. But it ultimately goes back to the idea, remember, there are not that many companies right now that have Bitcoin on their balance sheet, right? If you look at that list, outside of the crypto businesses, there's like 5 companies I could think of. MicroStrategy, Tesla, Square, and then you've got that biotech company. So 4 companies, actually, the biotech company last week that announced.
And outside of MicroStrategy,
non-crypto businesses.
Yeah, and none of them are really like a substantial portion, right? I mean, MicroStrategy's obviously spent a bunch of money on it, but Tesla, it's like a couple percentage points. Square, it's a little bit, right? Like, so there's no one person that has gone out and made that concentrated bet like Michael Saylor has.
When this thing starts, you'll watch this show and you'll just hear us say, "Yep, we're in the FOMO phase," because it's going to happen. I don't know when it starts to happen, but it'll slowly build up. And then there's going to be like a 2-3 week period where literally you're gonna literally try to go to sleep at night and you're not gonna be able to go to sleep because you can't stop thinking about what's happening. You're gonna wake up and be like, "What'd I miss?" And it's just going to be every single person in your life is going to be talking about this. The Uber driver, your barber, your friend, your mom, everyone is going to be talking about this stuff. And when you feel that, that's when you know, okay, we're starting to hit that FOMO phase. But if we go back and look at the FOMO phase of 2017 and other bull markets, it supersedes almost everyone's expectations. And what we're talking about now is in the heart of a bull market, we had a 50+% drawdown. The volatility on this thing is unlike any other asset. And so when you start thinking about all of these Wall Street guys that come in, right, whether they're hedge funds, whether they're corporations, whether they're some sort of asset manager, I don't think they're ready for this. Like this stuff is going to absolutely rip their faces off. And you see it with a guy like Michael Burry. Listen, Michael Burry gets all the credit in the world, like we talked about last week, for the housing short. He gets zero credit for going around, running around, yelling and screaming about head and shoulders, Bitcoin's going down, right? If you look at, what's the guy, Scott Minerd or whatever, right? The CIO, he was saying that Bitcoin could trade as low as like $15,000 or $20,000 or whatever. And it turns around and it just rips people's faces off. And I think that's what people have to understand is if you are an investor, not only do you have to do your own research, not only should you be kind of sizing a position correctly in your portfolio, all those timeless investing principles, you also have to understand this is a highly, highly, highly volatile asset. Volatility is not good or bad. Volatility is bad if it goes against you. If I'm long Bitcoin and it goes down, that's bad volatility. If I'm long Bitcoin and it goes up, that's good volatility. So volatility, not good or bad. It just depends on whether it goes with you or against you. But please, please, please make sure that you understand when volatility occurs, it leads to all sorts of human emotion. Everything from fear to greed, etc. And that's ultimately what we see play out in these FOMO cycles is 80% of Bitcoin not moving in 6 months, and all of a sudden new demand comes in. I don't know. I don't want to say where I think the price is going, but it's going much, much, much higher than where it is right now. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching that clip of the Best Business Show. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you know when we go live every weekday, and then head to SoFi.com/pomp so that you can get an account and we can get after it.